Hi everyone, it's been a while. I've been in school, so I've definitely been more bogged down with assignments and stuff recently. Hopefully I'll get back in the swing of things. In this video, I'll just be going over my painting process for one of my most recent paintings I completed. So let's get into it. The first step was making a reference. I basically made a 3D collage, otherwise known as a maquette. Doing this, I cut out a bunch of magazines, paper, maps, etc., even some yarn and some fake flowers, and I just wanted to try to make an interesting composition. I definitely picked out things that appealed to me, but you know, overall it's just trying to make an interesting composition and see where it took me. The next step was making color and value studies. This was not something I usually do, but it was part of the assignment. So I sketched out a simple value study, and in oil paints I made a color study. I think they turned out pretty cute, especially just for being a study, but it just gave me an idea of where I wanted to take the piece and where I wanted to exaggerate some parts. I definitely wanted to emphasize the face, the side profile, and kind of intensify the abstract shapes, so that was something that helped. Next up was creating a sketch to transfer onto the board. I needed to make a sketch that was to scale for the assignment. So basically, yeah, I just sketched out on a big piece of paper what I wanted to do, referencing my maquette, my collage, and then eventually transferred it onto my board with oil paint. And you can see this here. I first primed the board with pink, just because I wanted to, and I like the look of it peeking through in some places. Even though you can't really see it on the finished piece, it just kind of helps me with my process. And finally getting into the painting process. You can see that pink poking out. It just kind of gives me, like, one of my painting professors told me at some point, like, you have to like a painting as you're going along. If that pink wasn't there and if it was just white showing through, I don't think I would have, like, been as motivated to continue, because I like the way this looks, you know? Anyways, just rendering. You can tell I was getting into the detail of the face, just like, oh, and I was trying to get depth. I wanted like a sense of like atmospheric perspective, like going into the background. Even though this was just like a little tiny 3D model, I really wanted it to seem like distance, like those mountains, those hills are like, this is some surreal world. And this is before the final. You can definitely tell that I was like getting into the details of those maps, into the details of the face. And there's still some ways to go on in this step. The background is pretty bland, and the abstract shapes really aren't being pushed as much as they should be, but I was pretty happy with it at this point. And here's the final piece. You can see where I was really trying to push those abstract shapes and the patterns within the forms. For example, if you'll look up in the top left corner, those like chandelier type shapes, and then the lines and the mountains, just to give it some extra detail. And I even added like some pieces that weren't really there in the original, like the extra ear on that like halo. It was just something, I kind of wanted to push the organicness of it, like weird repeating organic shapes, and I don't think I fully achieve that. I wish I maybe would have done more, like more ears, more eyes, you know, pushing that repetition more. But overall, I'm very happy with the piece, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey. This is a piece that I'm really, really proud of overall, and you know, I hope to make more content like this soon, so stick around. Bye bye.